What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football. We're going to do another Premier League transfer window tier list video. We've had some decent response and some decent viewership to my previous two videos. For those of you who kind of know the way this video is going to work and roll out, please feel free to kind of skip along a minute or so to get to where we start this Manchester United version of this type of video. But for those of you who don't know, I'll just tell you kind of the way the video is going to work. So basically, I don't prepare. I don't do any notes. I don't know the contract statuses, expiry dates of any of these players. But what we do is we look at each player going through the squad list and we put them into these categories. Keep no matter what and extend the contract. Sell for greater than their value according to the fantastic transfer market. Sell for what they are worth, their current value. Loan them out or release or try and sell them for less than value. It's important to remember that obviously, if a player is in a sell column or a loan out column, if the bid doesn't come in, obviously the player is kept. Not every single time are you going to want to sell a player, and then want to make sure that every single player that you have available for sale gets sold, because you probably won't have much of a squad left afterwards. Good example I like to give, if Lionel Messi is in his prime or Cristiano Ronaldo is in their prime, and somebody bids $22 trillion for them, it's a really bad deal because it cripples a football club. No player is worth that amount. Every player has their price, and I'm very serious about that. That's very, very true. So I'm saying, as I've said to you, depending on players' contracts here, there might be a few players who might be in columns that you don't expect them to be in. So first of all, United's number one, supposedly, David De Gea, valued here at £22.5 million. Lower, I think, than you would expect. Last updated 17th of December 2020. He's 30 years old, but as a goalkeeper, that's at least another 5 or 6 years of this composed, experienced, international, Premier League winning goalkeeper. Did he win in 2012? Was it 2012 that he won? Yeah, he'd have won in 2012. Yeah, absolutely. Premier League winning, Europa League winning, part of World Cup squads. Ooh, maybe, I'm not sure on that. Anyway, contract expires in 2023. Now, by all reports, this is the highest paid player in the Premier League. And with the kind of general goalkeeping pool that you have at Manchester United, let's be honest here. You don't really want this guy sticking around with potentially better goalkeepers as a backup. 22.5 is going to sting if you sell him for that amount, but I think the value in getting rid of somebody who's on that much in terms of wages puts them right around here. Sell for value or sell for greater than value. Now, Manchester United, you would expect, are going to take a look at selling a goalkeeper like David De Gea for $22.5 million as disrespectful. And hey, generally speaking, I agree with them. So I think you're going to have to put him in the sell for greater than value. 30 million, 40 million at this stage with the goalkeepers you already have. I think that's perfectly reasonable. You're also getting one of the most bloated contracts in the history of football in terms of what the player's worth off your book. So I think that's pretty easy right there. Next up, Lee Grant. Okay, I'm kind of doing this just because we want to do our due diligence. So I say that a lot. We want to make sure that we're looking at everybody just to make sure that, nothing too crazy hits us. We can expect what he's going to be worth when his contract's out, but let's just take a look. So 315,000, he's 38 years old. Contract expires in 2021. I honestly don't know too much of the guy, and he seems like a great guy. In any photos I've seen crop up on Twitter, enjoying himself, having a laugh, well-respected member of the group. But yeah, we need to move on from Lee Grant. That's kind of an easy one. Dean Henderson. This is another easy one for me, but like I said, let's just check here because we want to see the contract. He did sign a new contract recently, right? Goalkeepers, I always find goalkeepers dangerously undervalued on transfer market. I mean, you really only need one starter, so I kind of understand it because there's a huge, in terms of looking at the market, there's so many options that if you can't get, Adam, you get Bob, right? You can kind of just go to the next best thing. Yeah, so he signed a new deal in 2020, beginning of the year, till 2025. So this guy's clearly the future. I think he's the best goalkeeper at the club right now. I think he should be given a run as the starter, personally. Manchester United's defensive woes. I think Gary Neville pointed this out on Monday Night Football last night. The great Manchester United teams, their centre-backs and their goalkeeper is always very, very solid. The attack's usually always pretty top-notch and the midfield usually strong. But the centre-backs and the goalkeeper is always very, very good in successful Man United teams. And I think Gary Neville made the point about Maguire's problem is Lindelof. Lindelof's problem is Maguire. And De Gea and some of his errors, this isn't 2016 De Gea, who we all remember as just this ridiculous talent who can't be beaten, best goalkeeper in the world. We're far from that now. There are lots of names I think you could put saying better than him. And it's just time to move on. Right, let's take a look at Sergio Romero. This guy is one of the most disrespected footballers of all time. I've never seen a guy who's been so good, but just not kind of get the credit that he... 1.8 mil valued at? Man, that's such a great signing for another Premier League team. Got an extension in 2017 till this year. Yeah, I mean... Look, the January transfer window's gone. You just got to let him go. I hate to say it. He's way more valuable than Lee Grant. Why can't I sneak him in there? There we go. If De Gea goes, do you offer him a contract to be the backup? To me, this has always been the best backup in world football. I know you've got Buffon Szczesny. I know that's pretty strong. Trying to think, it's such a shame. But I think if a team who needs a goalkeeper can pick up enough money to pay Sergio Romero wages, you've got a great goalkeeper for at least 3 years. At least 3 years. He proved himself. Wasn't it a season or two ago that he was better than De Gea in terms of like goals conceded, clean sheets, and like goals per game conceded? I'm pretty sure that's right. So yeah, Manchester United really messed up here. I mean, look at this goalkeeping talent: Dean Henderson, De Gea, Romero. I mean, Lee Grant's a bit of an albatross there, but I don't know. Weird transfer market workings from Manchester United in the goalkeeper position. So moving on to the defenders. Let's take a look at Alex Tellez. I mean, this is pretty easy because he's part of this fantastic left-back group that Manchester United have now. Even if you want to include Brandon Williams in there, there's 3 fantastic left-backs. I thought at a time Brandon Williams is better than Luke Shaw. But this guy's such a threat and puts really good pressure on Luke Shaw. Just signed, option for a further year as well, depending, 31.5 mil. I mean, if somebody offers you 31.5 mil, do you take that? But I think it offers really good competition at the position. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, that's quite a lot of cheese there. 31.5 mil. If a team offers you that or even above it, and you only signed him, the year before for 13.5, it's a good little profit you could make there. I still don't know if you want to break up the pressure that he's clearly applying to Luke Shaw, which is having Luke Shaw play the best football of his career. He's a really, really good quality backup. Takes penalties, free kicks, was captain of Porto, I believe. So I think he offers a lot more than just his footballing talent. There are intangibles there and more of a skill set there that make him good there. Because Luke Shaw gets hurt, which we know is possible. He's a great covering player there. So I think that's kind of an easy one, actually. Alex Tellez keeping him. Right, moving on to the enigma that is Eric Bailly, Côte d'Ivoire. 26 years old, 15.75 million. Guys, I'm just going to be straight with you. This is Manchester United's best centre-back on his day. This guy dominates people. Like, it's absolutely hilarious how good he is on his day. Fitness and consistency is the problem. Signed for £34.2 million, worth 15.75. There's no way you're going to sell him. Contracted till 2022. I think Man United are in the market for another centre-back. I know it's a crazy thing to say at this point, but honestly I do. And do you risk giving money to Eric Bailly? Do you risk giving Eric Bailly a new deal where he might want more money? Probably, right? Last contract extension was 2020, and the contract still expires in 2022. So I don't know what that means. What did they do there? What do we think they did? Did they say, hey, we'll pay you a little more, but we want you to take a shorter-term deal? And, you know, there was that spell this year where he was amazing. I'm going to put him here. Yeah, I think we want De Gea. His contract off the thing here. But Eric Bailly, the thing is, if some team comes in and offers you 25 mil, 30 mil in a coronavirus market, you probably take it and just take the risk that, oh, he'll probably get hurt again or he's not going to play up to his potential. Remember, when he signed from Villarreal, he wasn't up to much. You know, he didn't play too many games, but he was impressive. I just think that if you sell for 15 mil or less and then he does well, you know, it just kind of offsets it a bit. So I'm not going to extend his contract, but if he doesn't sell for the money that you'd want for him, I think you just keep him and see if he can have that contract year. You know, in that final year of his contract, hey, we'll give you another contract, but you need to earn it. That's probably the way I'd play it with Eric Bailly. Phil Jones, not even going to look at his thing. I will, because it's only fair. But Phil Jones, you have to get rid of. He's right here, below Lee Grant. This has been one of the most overrated signings ever. I mean, you know, he was relatively cheap, I seem to recall, like 18 mil from Blackburn, wasn't it? Yeah, 17.37 mil from Blackburn. Contract expires in 2023. Yeesh. Option for a further year. Yeah, like, guys, somebody offers 5.4 million for Phil Jones, accept it. Somebody offers 3 million for Phil Jones, accept it. I'd take even a free transfer at this point. Just accept it. Guy's not been good for a long time. Good position versatility, British, been at the club now nearly 10 years, which absolutely blows my mind. I think, didn't Ferguson say he had potential to be Manchester United's best ever player? Well, that's an absolute joke. The guy, you know, he looked better suited in you know, League 2, League 1. Really poor quality for Phil Jones. That was an easy one. Victor Lindelof. Okay. Victor Lindelof's interesting. I really like Victor Lindelof. When he was at Benfica in particular, he's still 26. Like, I think people think we're looking at like a 29-year-old player. He's still 26. You'd still argue maybe some of his better years are ahead of him here. Contract expires in 2024, 21.6 million, signed for 31.5. This is hard. I would sell him. No, I'd keep him. Because I think with the right partner, and we're going to get to Maguire in a second, I think with the right partner, he's amazing. I will say I miss Victor Lindelof with when he was bald. I'm just going to get a picture of him up here. This is the Victor Lindelof I miss from seeing it at Benfica. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. You're not getting past that, man. Do you know what I mean? You know, with the longer hair, he kind of looks a little bit, I don't know. But Victor Lindelof, like, you're not messing with that guy. I think you got to keep him. I really like him personally. I think he's a good player. You know, largely speaking, Could Manchester United improve? Yes. Will they win a title with somebody like Victor Lindelof? Questionable. Anyway, so let's move on to his buddy. Man, Harry Maguire, what do? You paid all that money. He's capped into, I think that kind of says it all, 36 mil. I think it's the wrong decision to a contract till 2025. I think it's the wrong decision to sell at this point. Because think about it. Think about the negative connotations of selling. How much? £78.3 million you paid for him when he left Leicester. He's capped in. You know, he's supposed to be the centerpiece of this cultural reboot that they had. It's just a bad look. I'm trying to find him here, to be honest. Did I even put him here? It's just a bad look if you sell him. He's probably more important than Lindelof if we're being fair. Tellez, I do like Alex Tellez. Yeah, I mean, guys, you can't. I mean, even somebody bids 40 or 50 mil. You're still eating a 30 million loss. Your captain's now gone. What, you're relying on Eric Bailly and Lindelof unless you sign a replacement who knows that you're going to have a lot of money. Look at this. 100% starting 11, 100% minutes, couple of goals. He does offer something, and he gets a bad rap. Harry Maguire doesn't control how much he cost. One thing I'll say, maybe I'll bring myself full picture for this one. I don't know if you can see by the full list here. Look how many names are here, guys. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9 names already on the list, and we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still have like 20-something names to go. This is a bloated Manchester United team, which needs to be, figured out. Luke Shaw you keep. Easy. 2023 contract. That's 2 years, 2.5 years from now with an extended year, 3.5 years. And then he'll probably secure another contract. He's playing his best football. He hilariously, I can't believe I'm saying this. Didn't think I'd say it at the start of the year. Luke Shaw starts for me for England. Honestly, at left back, Ben Chilwell's not been as good. Who are you going to have, like Danny Rose or somebody? Luke Shaw's been great. I think Luke Shaw starts for England at this point. That's kind of an easy one at this point. Axel Tuanzebe is an interesting one. I forget what I was talking about. Oh, the bloated squad. Yeah, so, this Manchester United team, you think about, oh, no, it's not too bad. Oh, my God, these adverts are killing me. You think about, oh, it's not too bad. But then actually, you look at it and you go, isn't it? Isn't it? Jesse Lingard's on loan. Diogo Dalot's on loan. Matic is part of the squad. Juan Mata is part of the squad. They've spent so much money on kids recently. Amad Diallo, who we'll get to. Facundo Palestri, who we'll get to. Teden Mengi, I know, has got a lot of credit. Charlie McNeil, who they got from Manchester City. There's a big controversy over that. Axel Tuanzebe, 23. Not developed enough for me to warrant a new contract. A year left. Yeah, if somebody, I think if he wants to try and prove himself, where is he? Where the hell is he? Is he even on here? Oh my God, is he even on here? I don't think he is, Okay, Axel Tuanzebe is not on this list, unless I'm crazy. Cavani, Chong, Dalo, Diallo, Fred, Greenwood, Martial. Oh, there he is. God, I'm so blind. He was under T for Tuanzebe. I think it's a real kick in the teeth to sell a guy who they were quite high on for £7.2 million. That's what I'll say. I think that 10 mil, 15 mil, what's his international representation? Is he up to the under 20? Does it even say that on here? It must do. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's represented the under... Yeah, there you go, on the right. Sorry, I'm totally blind. He played for the under-21s, under Eddie Boothroyd. He's represented the first team a couple of times, especially as a sub. Option for a further year too. Man, I didn't read that. Yeah, you keep him. I'd say that he's going to be good cover. That value may continue to go up. He is British. He does have that citizenship. So he's a good spot in there. I just want to check how we're doing for time here, because this is a big team. 20 minutes, man. We've still got a lot to do. Excuse me as I close my open EMU. Okay, moving on to the next player, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. This is an easy one. More important, I'd say, than Tejas. Oh, is he more important than Luke Shaw? Not right now. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the best one-on-one defender at fullback, let's say, in the world. I've never seen anything like it, honestly, from a fullback. Maldini, Shaw, not Luke Shaw, like Maldini, Shaw, Sure was amazing. But even then, like, Maldini was great at kind of making a tackle, recovering the ball, then playing out. That's what was impressive. Aaron Wan-Bissaka just makes tackles, interceptions, does all that stuff. His limitations are going forward, which is incredible because he was a winger. I always find that so incredible. Every time he dribbles, I honestly believe to myself, like, I think I have a bit more composure in dribbling, or I have friends who have more composure in dribbling than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But defensively, this is the best fullback in the world. You keep him, British, 23, just going to get better. Through offensive training as well, you can train on your crosses, on your decision making, all this stuff. That kind of mental ability of when to make a challenge, all this kind of stuff, he's got that absolutely nailed. Great contract, still hasn't been extended at any point. That's going to, you'd imagine, come up at some point with a year extension. And you know what? 50 million, you'd say, wow, that was a really big deal. This is going to be your starting right back, or at least a part of this squad for a very, very long time. So that's kind of an easy one for me for Wan-Bissaka. Here we got Brandon Williams. See, Brandon Williams, the interesting thing about him is, I believe, he's now being played as a right back to put a bit of pressure on Wan-Bissaka. But it's not really pressure, because we've also got Diogo Dalot to think about. 9.9 million, yeah, British. Can play both fullback, both sides. Academy player, easy keep. He can't be on that much money. Real question is, do you loan him out? And that, I'm going to say, is after we look at Diogo Dalot. That's the important thing here. Because Diogo Dalot, I think, is overrated and not such a great player. And, I'm a Roma fan. I've been watching a lot of Serie A this year, obviously. I kind of try and split my time between, the big games in Europe's top 5 leagues. Serie A games and Premier League games are obviously my main two kind of leagues that I'm watching. Obviously, I watched Real Madrid Valencia the other day. But, every time I see Milan play and I see Dalot, it's fine. But he really doesn't kind of blow you away. Like, I don't think he's deserving of a new deal. And he's got 2 years left. So what I'm going to say is, I think you put somebody like Diogo Dalot here, because how much was paid for him? Because Mourinho paid a lot for him, didn't he? Like 20 mil, so it's not crazy, but it's enough. So 20 mil was paid for him. He's currently gone up and... Oh, no, he hasn't.
To Chelsea last year.
Oh,
my last game,
somebody's talking at me.
To Chelsea,
Great. But 10.8 million.
Last time we beat.
I think you just sell him for a bit more than that. If you can make your money back, great. Which then leads me to, I think, put Brandon Williams in the keep. And the amount he's worth, I'd say, probably just above Lindelof. Now, if we've got all the defenders, that's all the defenders. Right, moving on to midfield. This is where it starts to get fun. So this Pigmal guy who I saw here, honestly, never heard of him. He's a young player. But, let's do our due diligence then. I think Spain under 21 international as well. From Barcelona. Spain under 19 so far. Espanyol youth. Okay, so he was at Espanyol. But look, I mean, I know it's the reserve league, and he's 20. 8 appearances, 6 goals, 2 assists. That's solid. What position? He's a central midfielder. That's really good goal return from a central midfielder. Contract expires this year. Wow. Okay. I think if you like him, guys, listen to me. I know nothing about him. If you like him, you have to extend his contract and then probably loan him out. Man, all these videos. What's going on here? I think if you like him, you offer him a new deal, loan him out, or tell him, look, we'll give you a chance in the first team. You can come train with the first team. But seriously, guys, Manchester United have spent a lot of money on young players, and it really does feel to me anyway that they like what they have coming through the academy. They think that there are certain players who can be first team players in like the next 18 months. And if this is one of those guys, like I say, I know nothing about him, but I think you have to extend his deal. Even if he wants a 5-figure sum of money, 10K, 15K, 20K a week, I think you give it to him, loan him out or bring him into the squad and have him as like a rotation option and just, see what he's got. Because his value, you'd imagine, Spanish international, central midfielder, his value is just going to go up. Bruno Fernandes, we don't even have to look. Most important player in the Premier League, I would say, to a team. I mean, I'm sure some people will say maybe Kane, and hey, I'm not going to blame you. I think the Kevin De Bruyne being important to City has been kind of ruled out this year because of how brilliant they've been without him. Here's the thing, everybody. I know you're going to think, what are you talking about here? His market value is £81 million. I said at the beginning of the video, no player kind of has no player is that like has too much of a value to pay for him, right? He's currently worth 81 million. If a team comes in and offers you 120 million for Bruno Fernandes, you're not going to have that conversation. You just paid 40 million for Donny van de Beek. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to like kind of stir the pot up here. If Bruno Fernandes' value is at like 50 or 60, you go, no way. But his value's at 81. All I'm saying is, somebody comes in with a huge offer. You're not turning that down? Now, to me, Manchester United's most important player. They're nothing without him. Without him, they potentially don't make Champions League consistently. How much is that worth to you? So I think he's a keep. But the same with De Bruyne when I did the Man City list. I think De Bruyne's worth like over 100 mil according to Transfermarkt. If somebody comes in with a huge offer, you're not considering it? You paid 50 for him, and you could maybe double that. You've got Donny van de Beek who can play more. Maybe Pogba's more of a star again. He signs a new deal. I'm just saying, stuff can happen. Just because it sounds crazy doesn't mean, it doesn't have the chance to happen. I think you keep him because he's that important. But an £81 million player who you signed for 50, just saying. Now you keep him. Let's be honest. You got to keep him, don't you? Fred. Okay, interesting one. I saw a tweet the other day. I think James maybe even liked it. It's like, what happened to this guy? Why doesn't he play Brazilian anymore? And he was doing all these, Cruyff turns and flip-flaps and finesse shots into the goal. But guys, it's the Ukrainian league for Shakhtar Donetsk. Like, he's playing for Manchester United now in the Premier League. Like, there are levels. Contract expires in 2023 with an option of a further year. That's really good, like, timing and business from Manchester United, because he's 27, okay? Let's say they use that option for a further year. 2024, 3.5 years from now, he's 30. And at that point, you really get a good sense of whether he's been worth it or not, don't you? You're never selling him for just over 18 months. Like, somebody offers 25 or 30. I don't think you accept that. You paid 50 for him. He's a good rotation player. He's been solid this year. I think you keep him. Whereas he's probably just a bit higher than Brandon Williams there in the keep. But that's a pretty easy one. That's actually, it's a rarity, but that's actually great business from Manchester United there. Because he doesn't really have him over a barrel with the timing of his contract or how well he's playing or anything like that. His age, like Fred's got to do something, or else his next contract, it's not going to be playing for a top team. Wan-Bissaka, the nicest man in the world. Optioned for a further year. 32 years old. You get the feeling that he doesn't care anymore. And I don't mean that in like a savage, brutal kind of way. I just mean that in he's got bigger fish to fry. He's doing that thing where you take a fraction, a small fraction percentage of your paycheck. And he's talking again. And he's got all this stuff going on now with charitable work and a lot of other stuff. He's a very smart guy as well. I remember Guillaume Balaguer talking about that at UCFB. And he's not worth too much. I mean, do you just kind of let him go? I think the thing is, you want to let him decide where to go. Because he's been a good piece for the team, hasn't he? I mean, are you going to really kind of, bitch and moan that he's worth 6.75? Are you going to really complain that you, instead of getting 8 mil, you got 4 mil? I mean, I know it's £4 million, everybody. I'm not blind to that. But he's been such a good guy. I don't know what to say. This is tricky. You don't want to release him, though. You've got to get some value. He's still 32. I think you sell him for his value. Because you'd imagine he's still on pretty decent wages, so it'd be good to get him off the wage bill, but you don't want to price out other teams that you might want to go to. Maybe he wants to go back to Valencia. Valencia, I know financially aren't doing so hot at the moment. If Valencia can shift off a couple of players, Mata maybe takes a pay cut, and you don't charge him too much, I think that's just a good all-round deal. But yeah, it doesn't offer, apart from being a fantastic personality in the dressing room, I don't think... he's really offering too much as a player at the moment. He scored that bicycle kick or that kind of twisted volley at Juanfield, whenever that was. He's had some great moments, won some stuff, largely disappointing, I think, overall. But he's a good guy. Nemanja Matic, 10.8 mil. He's just a good steady Eddie, isn't he? How much did he pay for him? 40 mil was paid for him. Oof. I remember thinking when he signed, and because it was Mourinho was manager at the time, I think, because Matic came in, and then didn't Zlatan and Pogba come in? Wasn't that year? Maybe that was the year before. Anyway, I remember thinking, oh my God, like Man United needed a holding midfielder. Now they have Matic, and they need like a killer centre forward. Now they got Zlatan. They got an all-star midfielder and Pogba. Wow. I really like some of Man United's midfield options. And I think you want to let Donny van de Beek play. I think you sell him for greater than value. But I think I'd feel about it like there. Like if somebody, I think at this point, he 32? He's 32. His birthday, before the start of the year, he's going to be 33. Is there an option to extend? No, that's usually their policy. I think that if somebody offers like 15 mil, and he can go to a team where he wants to go to, even the States, if he wants to go to America or, Abu Dhabi or, China or somewhere like that, I think you kind of let him. How are we doing for time here? 34. Okay. Nice. We're speeding along. We're doing okay. I think you just let him do his thing here. The difficulty with a player like Matic is he's still going to want a lot of money. And, I didn't love that contract extension. I don't think that was a great idea from them. Especially till, 2023, really. He's going to be 35. He's going to be 35. He's going to be nearly 36 when his contract goes out. And I just think that he doesn't offer enough at this point from what he has done before with the likes of Van de Beek coming through, some of the midfielders that they like. And like I say, you really want to get Donny van de Beek to work in this team because you can tell he's a great player. He just needs a run of games. He needs that confidence. Okay, easiest one. I don't care how much he's valued. Yeah, I like him more than Luke Shaw. Why not? Scott McSauce. This is my favourite Manchester United player. I love this kid's story. I call him a kid. He's only a couple of years younger than me. I love his story. I love the way he plays, the way he applies himself. Class. Yeah, fantastic. You know, signed an extension with a year option. He can't be on crazy money compared to how he's playing this year. I'd imagine maybe he'll even get a bump to his contract, you know, in the next year, 18 months, because of how well he's playing, how important he is to the team. 22.5 mil. Honestly, Scott McTominay, are you selling Scott McTominay for anything less than 50 mil at this point? Seriously, some people might be like, are you crazy? Look how important this guy is for this team. You know, 4 goals and assist, gets around, defensively very solid, physical presence. You know, was a winger, I think, before he, you know, grew like a foot in height. That's a really easy one for me. I think Scott McTominay is so important to this team. You know, behind somebody like Marcus Rashford, I look at, you know, trying to have that British. Who's your British standout? Like if we say it's Phil Foden for City, and we say it's Mason Mount for Chelsea, Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. You know, Scott McTominay is that next kind of British, you know, British guy, academy guy coming through. And I really like him. I think he's great. Right. Now we get to some juicy bits. Paul Pogba, 58.5 mil is what he's valued at. Mino Raiola is the agent. I can just see people being like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? Contract expires not this summer, but next summer. So what does that mean, everybody? That means you pay the man or you sell the man. It's one or the other. Are Man United better with Paul Pogba in this team or not? 19 appearances, 3 goals, and assist. One of their best seasons they've had for a long time. And Pogba hasn't been a huge part of it. 62 minutes, 63% starting alone. How much was paid for him to begin with? £94.5 million. Year left on his contract, so I think taking less money is understandable at this point, isn't it? Let's be honest. I think you can justify that. If he had 3 years left on his deal and some team wanted him, I think you could say, right, well, we want 120. We want 100, you know? But at this point, with a year left on his deal, do you sell Pogba for £60 million? You know, 58.5? I'm still going to say no. I'm still going to say no. I think you do want a bit more. I think you want at least 60 or 70, which is greater than his value. I think it is important you get rid of him. He's more of a problem than he is a positive influence on the team. You want to sell him more than by, I think, the more I think about it, you want to sell De Gea more. That's tricky. You know, an extra year on his contract changes everything there, by the way. That's why it was important for them to do that year extension. And Manchester United, that's very clever. I don't know, they seem to be the only team who really use that, like a 1 year extension option, which all the players agree to. And it's very clever because it gives them good control. Man, what would you accept for Pogba? I think, 60, 65 is probably about right. You know, Juve financially in trouble. Do you try and get, I don't know, who do you try and get? Do you try and get Bentancur? You know, do you try and get a cheaper option than like a Jadon Sancho? Do you try and get a Bernardeschi? Who's that centre back? Who's that centre back that everybody likes? The Turkish guy. I always forget these players' names. You know, they signed Weston McKennie. I really like Kulusevski as well. Demiral, that's it. Mirid Demiral. Do you try and get Demiral? to come in as a centre back who can really add value to kind of levy that. There's a lot you can do with that. It's not going to be a swap. Let's be honest. Swaps are usually like a verbal agreement. We're going to sell you this guy. No, you're going to sell us that guy. They're two separate deals. Just makes things a lot easier. That's why swaps never really happen. But yeah, I think you've got to move on. It just depends how much you're willing to take or not take. That's kind of the important thing. Oh god, Boy van der Beek. That's not who I meant to click on. Donny's son, Boy van der Beek. Here all week. I really like Donny van der Beek, and I think he's a really good player. I think he knits things together really nicely, and I think you need players like this. He's never going to be extravagant like Bruno Fernandes or Paul Pogba, but if you can get a team ethic and a team ethos here, this is one of the most intelligent footballers that I've seen kind of recently. 23, up contract till 2025 with an extra year. Yeah, you keep him easy. 36 mil. Signed for 35.1. That's a great signing. He has dipped in value. It is a great signing, seriously. Even if he doesn't pan out, it's a fantastic signing. I think he's more important, I think you'd say, than... Oh, and we got music again. Great. Yeah, I think, is he more important than Wan-Bissaka? Probably not. Probably more... Yeah, that's probably about right for him, isn't it? More important than Tejas and maybe Maguire, because... Like I say, with Maguire, you would sell him if a really good offer came in, I think. And, another centre-back is probably going to come in. Ah, man. Yeah, Donny van der Beek, that's kind of an easy one, actually. Right, let's see if there are any other midfielders in here. Andreas Pereira. Right, let's zip through some of these guys. Because guys, some of these... Have I spelled that right? God, there are so many players called Pereira. Might have to do some serious searching here. Yeah, there he is. Lucky he made the first list. 9 mil, 25 years old, on loan at Lazio. He's been fine, but really there's nothing special about this kid. I know when he was coming out, there was lots of excitement about him. Contract expires in 2021. Oh, no, excuse me. His contract with Lazio expires in 2021. Manchester United contract expires 2023. Yeah, 9 mil. You've got 2 years to try and sell him for more than 9 mil. I think that's really, really easy. I think 9 mil, you could try and sell him for 9 mil, but with that extra time, you want to try and get more, greater than value. I think that's the thing with this Manchester United squad. The transfer marked value that it has them at is lower than I think that they would accept for, if we're being honest. And that's up to them. They have to overspend on these players. And I think we can all privately know why that is. And it's because it's because it's Man United. They do have lots of money. They will continue to have lots of money, even if they don't make Champions League. So they have to overpay, and then when they sell for less, and all this stuff. So speaking of these kind of young players who they've really invested in going forward, they spent 7.65 mil last summer on Facundo Pellistri. I haven't seen him play, but he's on loan at Alaves. He's just signed. I think you just keep loaning him out, don't you? Because we'll get onto some names in the future who are definitely going to occupy these. These spots going forward. The kind of right wing spot which supposedly Pellistri plays. So kind of understandable. Cavani, okay. Right, tricky. This is tricky. Seriously, best number 9 central striker Man United have. He's 34, and I think he has a year extension. And Man United are thinking about whether to trigger it or not. And I don't know why that would be. He's been really good. I mean, you're just going to let him go? He's going to be brilliant at another team. And if he's moved his family and stuff to the Premier League, I can think of a couple teams who live, Liverpool, Manchester City, who would probably take Edison Cavani on a short-term deal. To me, this is really easy. More of a case of keeping him to keep him away from other players. I think he's, at this point for this team, he's probably more important than long-term. Mm. Yeah, I'm going to put him there. He really is important for this Man United team. And, Martial, my Premier League pick for Golden Boot, by the way, Anthony Martial. He's more important than him at number 9, hands down. I think you've got to use that year extension, and really go from that standpoint. Amad Diallo, yeah, I mean, the kid arrived for loads of money. The kid arrived for a lot of money. We'll check this just because we want to do the right thing. Solskjaer, I think, in press conferences has talked about how, he's, we're getting to a point now where, maybe we'll introduce him into some teams. I think he's made the bench a couple times. Honestly, this kind of has a little bit of a feel of Cristiano Ronaldo when he signed. Now, obviously, the chance of him being, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, very, very limited. But this was one where United kind of acted very, very quickly with real conviction. Look, 2 appearances in the reserve leagues, 3 goals, 3 assists. So he's averaging 3 goal contributions per game. And I'll tell you, that's a hell of a lot better than peak Messi and peak Ronaldo. Obviously in the reserve Premier League league, but still, you just got to give this kid his chance, don't you? And see what he's made of. Loan out, I thought of, but the thing is, I think he's so young. You want to get him settled. He's 18 still. You want to get him settled. He's probably moved with his family, you'd imagine. So you do want to get him settled and kind of looked after. Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood, for me, has a higher ceiling than Marcus Rashford. I think he's potentially a better... Oh my God, 45 mil he's valued at. Oh, guys, that's hard. That's difficult. Oh my God. Okay, hear me out. Manchester United go back in for Jadon Sancho or Ousmane Dembele or whatever, and they've got this right winger now. So it's Rashford, Martial, Cavani, whatever, and then whoever this guy is, Dembele, Sancho, whatever. Somebody offers you 50 mil, 60 mil for Mason Greenwood, who this year has not looked at it. 18 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. You accept that? With Facundo Pellistri, Amad Diallo, Sancho, Dembele, Rashford can play off the right. Boys, and girls, I think you sell for greater than here. Call me crazy, seriously, and I maintain this. Let me be clear. I think Mason Greenwood has the potential to be a better version of Marcus Rashford. I love the fact he's 2-footed, can play off both feet. He always looks dangerous when he comes on as a sub. I always feel like he's going to score when he comes off the bench. When he starts, not quite at it. His value is £45 million. I mean, has he done enough to deserve that kind of valuation? I don't think so. Maybe 30, 25, but 45. Even if a team offers you £45 million for Mason Greenwood, you've got to consider it, surely. I think purely because he's British and he's an academy, you want 50 plus. But if somebody comes in with 45 million, you've got to have a conversation with, Solskjaer and the board and whoever there, because, I'll try and take the central camera here. If you've got Amad Diallo, who you've just signed for all this money, Facundo Pellistri, this kid, Daniel James is still in the squad, Rashford can play that, and you're still trying to sign Sancho, who will now cost less than he was going to cost in the summer, Ousmane Dembele, who's a year less of his contract, and you can sell one of your guys who's probably not going to start every game, who 18 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. The more I think about it, you want to sell. And that sucks, because I really like him. But just financially, that makes so much more sense. Man, I'll be honest, I'm kind of blown away by that valuation. Look at that, 45 mil, are you crazy? Like I said, guys, people no players are like not sellable. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. Neymar transfer should have told you that. You know, man, Daniel James, he's just not good enough, is he? 14.4 mil. How much was he signed for? 16. British, 23. I think do you loan him out? Do you loan him out? Because he's not going to be earning too much money, right? So he joins United, and look at that value. He was worth 22.5, 25.2. He's dropped way down to 14.4, and that's probably going to keep happening because he's not going to get much game time, is he? I'd take a loss on him, don't you? £1 million loss. Somebody comes in 14.4 mil. Yeah, I think you. Thing is, I don't want to just be play it safe and do, oh yeah, if an offer comes in for more than they're worth, you know. Pereira can go down here. Even Matic, what was he worth? 10 mil? Yeah, he can go down there too. Because, like I say, when it's such low values, it's kind of like, you know. I think you'd be gutted if Tuanzebe went for, what was he worth? He was worth like nothing. But you'd be gutted if you sold him for that. But these guys, I mean, it's like, I think that's fair. That's me. I'm actually making decisions now. I'm not just playing it safe. Who we got next? Anthony Martial. Wow, has he been disappointing this year? And he cost a lot of money. We need to remember that. How are we doing for time? Bit left. 49.5 million. Guys, this is easy for me. Hasn't looked at it. Doesn't look like he's going to hit that next level, does he? You know, Man United are in a good position here, contract-wise. I mean, I know he's earning more money than he did when he signed, and he's been at the club now a long, long time. Broke out onto the scene. He's been good in terms of goals scored over the course of his career. He's just not. He's never going to be that number 9, and I don't think he's good enough as a winger. I'd rather have Rashford playing on the wing than Martial. If Erling Haaland, if there's rumours there to be believed that Man United are really going to go for him, depending on how it happens with Pogba and Mino Raiola. How much was he paid for? 54 mil. Guys, yet again, I know it's super safe, but if you can, I think, sell Anthony Martial for more than he's currently valued at, I think you do it. Cavani's there, short term. I think you can find another striker that you want. And this Manchester United team, the central number 9 isn't strictly the most important part of it. It really is how the wingers operate and how Bruno Fernandes and that central midfield operate. The number 9, all they need to do is finish the chances that they get. And that's something that Cavani does, Martial does not do. Marcus Rashford, I mean, geez. This is going to have to be a really big number to consider selling him. 72. Oh my God. Thing is, I think Rashford's overrated. And now I mean that from a standpoint of, I think people think Rashford is just like blockbuster, star right now, star of the future, 23 years old, 72 mil is a lot of money. Oh man, his next contract's going to be really big. So guys, listen to me. His next contract is going to be massive. Massive. Like De Gea big, maybe a little less, but that kind of level. Like we're talking 250, 225k a week plus. So if you're all in for Rashford, I think this needs to be a 6-year deal for all that money. Yeah, again, if you sell him for that. But the thing is, Rashford for me, compared to Greenwood, I think Greenwood is still young, inexperienced, all that stuff, not a man yet, where Greenwood, if you sell him for 50 mil, he might not hit the heights. I think Rashford goes to another team, he's still going to kill it because he's that composed professional now. He's not a kid anymore. You know, his off the field stuff, he's had to grow up quick. You got to keep him. He's like the central hub of your team. Is he more important to you than Fernandes? For what Manchester United is? I'm going to say yeah. But you know, I think the team struggles more with Fernandes out of it than Rashford. Yeah, I'm going to put him there. Look, guys, like I said, good players are worth a lot of money. And the reason why they're worth a lot of money is because they're good players. So what that means is there's kind of a, what do you call that? Simultaneous? There's a relationship there. I'm struggling for the word's failing me right now. But there's a relationship there where if the player's good, their value is also going to be good. So if you sell the player, you're going to go, oh, you can't sell him, he's so good. And it's like, well, the value represents that. Potentially selling Rashford or Fernandes is because you could get upwards of £100 million from them. Think about what you could do with that money. If you back yourself and your scouting team and signing players, you can get another Marcus Rashford or another Bruno Fernandes for less money. And you've still got some extra money to invest in giving players you want to keep more money or signing other young players who you want to take a punt on. So that's why it's hard here. That's kind of an easy one though for me for Rashford. Right, we're done with that now. We've just got a couple here. Jesse Lingard and Tahith Chong. So we're going to finish on a bit of a damp squid here. 9 million. Oh dear. Jesse Lingard's such a funny one. Like, I always think, oh god, he's really like the epitome of like average. But then he'll score goals in finals and stuff. 3 appearances for West Ham, 2 goals. Contracts, Man United ends 2022. Yeah, isn't his agent Mino Raiola now? I swear he changed to Mino Raiola. Am I blind? Does it say that here? Played for England. Does it say it over here? No, it doesn't. I'm pretty sure his agent is now Mino Raiola. Because he'll be on decent wages. So that's why I think that, you know, the difference between selling him for 9 mil or 15 mil really isn't that bad. So I think you just sell him for his value. You know, he doesn't get played. They know that. You can't ask him for too much money. But yeah, it's like, you know, I think that there was that time period where, you know, Jesse Lingard was playing games and you know, a couple of other academy prospects and younger players, Phil Jones and Chris Smalling and all those kinds of guys were playing where it's like, are you going to win Premier Leagues? I don't know. On loan at Bruges. I don't think Man United believe in this kid compared to some of the other guys they've signed. I've seen him play a couple of times last year because he was a sub, wasn't he? And he came on. He looked okay, but you know, how much did they sign him for? That was a free transfer from Feyenoord. So yeah, 5.67 mil. Why not? Young player, sell him for his value. Sure. You probably want to. Yeah. I mean, they just, like I said, Man United they've got this kid Pellistri who they signed. They got Amad Diallo who they paid a lot of money for. Rashford can play in that position. Daniel James can play in that position. They want a Sancho or a Dembele. That's what we keep hearing. You know, that's why I think that, you know, honestly, Mason Greenwood, I hate to say it, if Mason Greenwood's value was half of what it is on Transfermarkt, I'd go, oh, keep all day. I think he can be better than Rashford, blah, blah, blah. Guys, and here's the kind of point I'll end on. I try and end on this all the time. Just because Pogba, De Gea, Greenwood, Martial, Bailly, Tuanzebe, Dalot, Matic, Pereira, Mata, James, Lingard, Chong, Romero, Grant, and Phil Jones are all in the sell columns, right? does not mean Manchester United are going to receive bids of above value for 7 players, bids of value for 6 players, and just any bids or releasing 3 players. It's not going to happen. Of this list, how many do I think will be sold or go on loan again? Pogba, maybe. De Gea, probably not. I don't know who's signing him. Greenwood, definitely not. You know, who's bidding 50 mil for Greenwood? Nobody. But if they do, that's what I'm saying. Anybody bidding for Martial? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. It's been a weird year for him. Eric Bailly, too many injuries, bit of a risk. Tuanzebe, probably not. I'm thinking now from a buying club's point of view, right? Pogba, too much money unless you're a team who really, really wants him, who can afford him. De Gea, wages too much. No. Mason Greenwood, Man United wouldn't sell. Martial, maybe if you really, really liked him and think you could turn it around. Eric Bailly, injuries. Tuanzebe, not proven. Dalot, not proven. Matic, too old. Pereira, not good enough. Mata, too old. James, raw. Lingard, too much wages, not enough return. Chong, don't know anything about. Do you know what I mean? These are all just, they're kind of what ifs, right? And if none of these what ifs happen, all these players get moved to that top list. Seriously. You know, guys, I'll be honest here. As much as I like Fernandes and Rashford, if somebody bids, and this is my point with Messi, if somebody bids $1 trillion for Rashford or Fernandes, you're accepting that deal. Let's be honest. You can buy whoever you want. So that's my list. Like I said, I'll just kind of go through it now, see if there's any that I'm looking at now that I'm kind of shocked at. I mean, those bottom 3 really kind of standard. Palestri, I don't know anything about. Yeah, you know, Chong, Lingard, James, Mata, you know, they're kind of, apart from maybe Daniel James and Chong, they're kind of just that. It's that last period pre David Moyes. I think that they're just kind of easing them out a little bit. That top list, like I say, just players who aren't up to it totally, who I think you could profit from. You know, Pogba, De Gea, Greenwood, Martial. And that top list, I'll be honest with you, love a lot of those players. Van der Beek, you could say it's questionable, but it's only been a year. With some midfielders moving on, he's going to have more chance to play. Cavani, yeah. I'm pretty happy with it, generally speaking. I just want to check how we are for time here, how quick. Okay, so I'll wrap it up. Guys, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I totally nuts here of trying to get rid of some of these really, really big name players? But for me, it represents good value, which you can go into the summer transfer window. Hate to say this, but guys, business is not personal, it's cold. Take advantage of some clubs who've been affected by coronavirus. Buy some really good prospects who maybe you like the look of. I know Dortmund have mentioned they can't keep hold of all their players they've got. So I think there's going to be a bit of a fire sale at Dortmund. New manager coming in, Marco Rose from Mönchengladbach. Is Sancho going to be available? Is Haaland going to be available again? Somebody like Gio Reyna. You know, I know they've got some defenders. The centre back Zagadou and the other Frenchman Diallo. Who is it? Diallo? Anyway, who are available? You know, are Manchester United going to go in for these kinds of players? This is a what if list. Let me know what you think. Anything crazy, please let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me and James. We're hoping to grow the channel as much as we can. And obviously, the more the channel grows, obviously, the kind of more time and effort we're going to put into it. I really enjoy doing these videos. I like talking things out. The beauty of me not preparing is I'm not giving you scripted answers. And when a player comes up where I'm thinking, you can hear my actual reaction because I don't look at their contracts or their value beforehand. I just kind of react live to what I do. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.